Teach? She's like, I don't know what you're doing. All right. So and just keeping with the de-stress and calming and kind of just middle of the week, getting ready for bed, we'll do a little bit of gentle movement to start, just to kind of rinse out our days. And then we'll end with a little bit of restorative, so we can just start to kind of settle the body so we can prepare for a really good sleep tonight. So I always say that if you want to, you can have some extra pillows, which you can use as like bolsters or blocks. Any blankets, if you want to sit up, if you have yoga props, feel free to take them. I'll always offer options for that. So we'll start seated, and you're welcome to sit up on a blanket or a pillow just to lift the hips up a little bit. And if it feels okay on your knees and your legs, you can just start to find a cross. It doesn't have to be a really tight cross. It can be nice and comfortable. It feels good to move around a little bit to just kind of start to settle in. Feel free to do that. And also just remembering that everything that I offer is an option tonight. And I'll always offer alternatives, and then always feel free to listen to what your body needs. You can start to close your eyes or just soften the gaze. Maybe bring the gaze towards the tip of your nose. And just beginning to notice and feel your breath. Just by bringing a little bit of awareness to each inhale and exhale, it can help us settle into the present. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the jaw. Soften the muscles of the face. A few more rounds of breath to settle in. Just checking in with your body and noticing how it's feeling as you settle in at the end of your day. Removing any judgment, just bringing in curiosity. Let's take one more breath here. You are welcome to keep the eyes closed and just start to allow the hands to rest on the tops of the knees. And just begin to round the spine, hugging the belly button in, letting the chin come to the chest. Really feel like you're trying to create space in the back of the spine. And then gently start to pull your heart forward. So just switching the side of the spine that you're trying to create a little bit of space. So now you're trying to create a little bit of space on the front. And taking these seated cat-cows as you round the spine. And open the heart. Moving at your own pace, take a couple more rounds. Pausing where it feels good. Moving as fast or as slow as you'd like here. Let's do one more round. Letting your breath guide you. And then start to come into a neutral seated position. And let's extend the legs out. So kind of just shake them out. Wiggle the feet. Roll the ankles. Wiggle the toes. It's okay if you have a little crackling going on. And you can keep your legs out wide as we just took them, or you can cross the legs again. And then start to reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Stretch it nice and tall, like you're growing taller from the sides of the body. And release the arms down. Reach the arms all the way up. And as you exhale, let the arms come down. One more, reach the arms all the way up. And release the arms down. Roll the shoulders. And then roll them the other way, reverse direction. And just start to allow the soles of the feet to touch. So you're letting the legs come a little bit wider, creating butterfly legs or diamond shape. And feel free to slide any kind of support underneath your knee. So you can do a pillow, a blanket. If you have a dog, you could put the dog under there. If they'll stay. And at first, just sitting up nice and tall. And it's okay if your knees are up really high. It's okay if they're down really low. But what I want you to focus on is finding a place where you can feel as if the muscle is trying to melt away from the bone, that you're just letting go of a little bit of tension. And so that's how you can know if you need a little extra support tonight, is if you just feel like you're working really hard to keep the knees where they're at, then add a pillow or a blanket. You can stay right here, just kind of sitting up tall and just sitting into this butterfly shape. Or you can start to lean a little forward. And I invite you to find some place to just let the arms rest. Now let's see if we can keep that neck neutral today. So just keeping the gaze a little forward, not letting the chin fall to the chest here. Let's take just 3 deep breaths here. One more. And wherever you're at, so if you're a little forward, I want you to stay there. If you're a little bit upright, stay there. But just start to walk your hands towards the right knee. So it's a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a lean. And you can always play with how far you are. So if you're upright, maybe you just lean a little bit more forward. It can be like an inch or a centimeter more. Just gently changes the sensation of the stretch and the shape. And as we hold here for 2 more breaths, see if you can breathe into like the left side of your lungs. So right on those left rib cage. Really send your breath there. Feel that expansion. One more breath. And then again, wherever you're at, you'll just let the head come back towards the middle and then bring your hands over to the left side. And again, it doesn't matter how far you are, but really bring that breath into the right side ribs. Really fill and feel that expansion. One more. And walk yourself back to the middle. And if you were leaning forward, just nice and slow, start to bring yourself upright. And let's again take the legs out. And if movement feels good to shake them out, go for it. Or you can just kind of let the legs just pause there for a moment. And let's start to change our perspective here. So we're going to come in onto our hands and our knees. So feel free to place extra padding underneath the knees, either a blanket or you can use some soft pillows. You can even add some extra padding underneath the hands, depending on what's underneath you. And I always give the option to, we're not going to stay here for too long, but we will move into that cat-cow from the tabletop. You can always drop onto your forearms if being on your wrists is not feeling good in your body tonight. So just like we did in that seated position, you're going to drop your belly button to the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then around the spine. So feeling that expansion on the back of the spine. And then as you pull your heart through your arms, feeling that expansion on the front of the spine. And just inviting some breath here. Making the movement what you need here. And really just focusing on rinsing out the day. So let's do 2 more rounds. Your eyes can be open or closed or soft. And then everyone will start to drop on your forearms. And just begin to let your hips come back to your heels. Now your hips don't have to come anywhere near your heels. And I don't even want you to stay that long. I want you to feel a little bit of rocking today. So start to feel the hips press back and then lift them up. So we're just nice and slow, adding a little bit more of a stretch on the lower back. If you're a human that sits or stands, which you probably are, your low back at some point is probably a little achy. So just being really kind and gentle. Especially as the weather gets colder, it might feel a little bit more achy or tight or crunchy. And the next time your hips are in the direction of your heels, just pause. You can place a blanket or a pillow behind the knees, or you can also place something right underneath your torso or both spots. We're just going to find 3 breaths here today. Really feel the lungs expand as you inhale and release as you exhale. One more. And slowly start to come back to that tabletop. And let's step your right foot forward. Keep that pillow underneath the back knee. You can walk your hands up the leg. And if there's any pain on the back knee at all, I'm going to show you an alternative in just 1 second. But if you're in this lunge, you can kind of do the same motion of rocking forward and back, just like we did when we were in child's pose. If you're on your knee and you're like, not today, I don't really want to stay there, I'm actually going to have you lay on your belly and bend your left leg. Because I really just want to focus here. So wherever you are, we're focusing on lengthening the front of the left leg, right in the hip, the quad. It doesn't matter if you feel a stretch or not, the motion is helping it stretch. If you're on your belly, you can even reach around for the foot. Maybe you find the foot, maybe you just kind of hold on to your sweatpants or your leggings or whatever you've got on. Just one more breath wherever you're at. You'll bring your hands to the ground, just so that you can bring the right knee back to meet the left. And we're going to come right into the other side. So if you were on your belly, you're welcome to stay there and just bend the right leg. Or if you want to try, your sides feel different. So the sides might feel a little bit different on the knee. You know your body best. Feel free to play. And whatever perspective you want to be, upright or down on the ground. Both work. Both are giving us our purpose for this move. Feel free to rock. Couple more breaths. At any point, it shouldn't feel really challenging to breathe. So if it does, take it a little step back. Maybe be still. Maybe come onto your belly instead of on your knee. If you are on your belly, I want you to stay there and just lengthen the legs. If you're on your knee, you'll bring your hands down and bring both knees onto the ground. And we're all gonna lay onto our bellies. You can make a pillow with the hands. I'm staying upright just so that I can talk. So if you're looking at me, otherwise I want you guys to relax the head and the neck and just start to bend your knees. You can find a little windshield wiper here. Let the feet flop from side to side. And then you'll let the legs come out to the side. I'm sorry, you'll let the legs come out behind you. And start to bring your right knee over to the right side. So I'm bending the knee so the inside of my right leg can just rest on the floor. If you've taken class with me before, you know I do this a lot in yin. It's a really great stretch. And I never have any complaints about it. But if you're in it and you're like, maybe you just had something to eat or you ate a little while ago and you don't want to stay on your belly for too long, just roll a little bit to the left side. So you're not laying on your belly so much, but that right knee is out to the side. That's what I want you to focus on here. You can add a pillow underneath your belly if you're rolling a little bit to the left side, but don't add a pillow underneath the right knee. It's actually going to make it higher. I just want you to be where you are today. Reconnect with your breath. If at any point you find yourself getting pulled away in your thoughts and in your focus, I always say to allow those thoughts to finish. Don't cut them right off. And then notice your breath. We're going to keep with that focus of rinsing out your day. But moving a little bit more into rinsing out your day, but also starting to really reset and prepare your body for a good night's sleep. It doesn't mean you have to go to sleep right when this is over either. Although it has been dark for hours. Few more rounds of breath with that right leg out to the side. If you notice that you've been holding on in the body as we've held here, I invite you to play with letting go just even 1% more. Just letting go a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot. And as you complete your next breath, just begin to let your right leg come to meet your left. Take a pause. And then begin to bend your left leg. So again, you're letting the knee come out to the side so that inside of the leg is on the floor. And you always have the option to roll a little bit to the right. Just a little while longer here. Last breath here. Nice and slow, start to slide your left leg to meet your right. If movement feels good, you can take movement here or just pause on your belly. And then you're gonna pick one side. So we reach one arm up overhead. We're gonna roll onto that side. So it might be the left or the right, it doesn't matter, but I want you to just start to roll to one side and pause in a fetal position. Using your arm as a pillow, or you can use an actual pillow as a pillow, that's fine. You can bend your knees to just hold you up. I'm taking an intentional pause here before we continue to roll onto our backs. Just allowing our body to slowly adjust. Couple more breaths in the fetal position. And then you'll keep going with the roll as you roll all the way onto your back. And when you first arrive on your back, I encourage you to take any motion that feels good. And hug the knees in, stretch the body long. Oh, excuse me. Kind of just prepare. It's not time for Shavasana yet, but just kind of having things within hand's reach. And we're going to come into a spinal twist. So continuing to rinse out our day. And I'm going to give you 2 ways to get in. So you can have the feet on the ground with the knees pointing up to the sky and just allow the knees to drop over to the right from there. This is going to give you a little bit more on the front of the left hip, on the outer hip. It's just a different sensation. Or you can just let both knees come into the chest and then let them drop over to the right side. So it's a little bit deeper twist in the spine. The one with your feet starting on the ground is not as much in the spine. I really encourage you to maybe play with each for a moment and see where your body really wants to pause, or even noticing where your body is feeling like it can let go a little bit more. Feel free to add any support underneath any knees. Continuing to allow your breath to settle. Last few rounds of breath here. Nice, and slowly start to let the knees come back to the middle. And take whatever you need between sides before you let the knees come to the other side. So again, whichever version you took on that first side, I encourage you to find the same version on the second side. Also remember that the sides are a little different. So if you need to adjust, adjust. Adding props. Continuing to allow the breath to soften. A few more rounds of breath in this final twist. Last breath here. And then slowly starting to bring the knees back up to the middle. And you may simply just let your legs come out in front of you. Let your arms come by your side. You may hug your knees into your chest. You want to give yourself one final squeeze. And just allowing your body to release into the ground for your final Shavasana. Remembering that staying on your back for a longer period of time is not something your body loves to do. Feel free to place props underneath the knees or the thighs, or letting your feet drape over something like a chair or a couch or the wall. Just using these last few minutes of class in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. And just starting to bring some awareness back into the space. Bringing some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. And rocking your head from side to side. When you feel ready, you can start to roll on to your side. Pausing there. And then using the strength of your arms, beginning to press yourself up, coming into a comfortable seat, keeping your focus inside. Bringing your hands to your heart center, gently bowing your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat tonight, for your practice, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste.